Hey everyone and welcome back. This will be the last video of the entire Introduction to Python 3 series, and we will be looking at lists, tuples, and dictionaries. So before we do anything with these, we must know that these are not the same thing. Let's just look up what the difference is between lists, tuples, and dictionaries in Python, and I'll teach you more about it. So here we will go through indexing and making lists, tuples, dictionaries, and a lot more. And this will not be easy. It will take time. So make sure that you are comfortable in your place and ready to begin. Firstly, let's look at the difference between lists, tuples, and dictionaries. Lists, tuples, and dictionaries. Okay, list is one of the most versatile collection object types available in Python. Dictionaries and tuples being the other two, which in a way more like variations of list. Okay, a list is a mutable ordered sequence of items. Mutable, which means that you can change it. So once you put values in a list, you can change it. But if you do that to a dictionary or a tuple, I'm not 100% sure which, you can't change it. Once you make a dictionary or a tuple with say some set of numbers and you assign it, like hit the button run, it's going to be saved. Now you can't change it at all. So that's the main difference. You can index it to find particular stuff, particular numbers, and etc. You can slice it and change it. So we will look at more of these. We will learn about .pop, .append, and a lot more. So let's just start. Okay, so firstly, one thing is that lists, dictionaries, and tuples can be easy to confuse with, and you may forget the difference between each, but that's completely fine. So firstly, we will make a list. To make a list, we can just do x is equal to say, okay, so now the notation we use to create a list is square brackets. That's something you need to remember. If you use either curly brackets or parentheses, which is this, it is not a list, but either a dictionary or a tuple. So let's just assign the values, say 4, 5, 6, and 7 to this. Okay, now we will use .pop and .append. Now, .pop. .pop is to say reduce, so to remove something. Now, what we could x, okay, here we are using the variable x, so x.pop. So now, firstly, let's use append. Now, x.append. Wait, I'm not sure if I'm doing this completely right. Let me just yeah, I think let's just try this. So say we are going to be adding the number 8 to the end of the list. So we're not putting any index here. Now let's run it again. It didn't work. Let's first try. Let me x dot pop this. Now, why are we not getting any output? What can be the reason? First, let me just print x to make sure that everything is working. Yeah, okay, it's working. Now, x dot pop -1. Okay, now we're just taking the index of something. So everything here, it's not removing anything. I'm not sure completely why. I'll look into it like right now. But firstly, index. Indexing is to find the particular value of something at a particular point. Indexing begins at 0. So the first number is 0. Hence, when you move back, you are moving to 7. Just imagine this as a repeating loop, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'll just copy paste this here. So imagine you're here, 4. Say this is 0, this is index 0. Now when you are moving -1, you are basically going back. So now it is 7. So that's the thing. Now moving back. So why wasn't our function working? Now, let's try x.append. X.append, say hello. Now print x, small x. Okay, there you go. Oh, okay, so it was just saving it but not printing. My bad. It was working perfectly fine, but I forgot to print it, so hence it was not giving any output. Yeah. So let's just start from square one. Now say that you have a list called, in this case, y, because why not? Now we're going to create a list, say, of 1, 2, and 3. Let's not make it too complicated. Now we can just do y dot pop, and then no, y dot pop, and then run this. Now this is just giving us a last value. Now print y, it has removed the last value because we haven't provided any index. So if you don't provide any index, Python automatically interprets it as nothing. So it will automatically remove the last element of the list. Now let's use y dot append. Append is to add. Now say y dot append hello. Now y print y, not x, 1, 2, and hello. Why is it not 1, 2, 3 and hello? Because we already removed 3 from here. Now let's look at indexes. Now what we can do here is that if we want to remove, say, at a particular index point, say the first one, which is 0, now we could do y dot pop 0, which will remove the 1. So it will just keep 2 and hello left. Hopefully it works. If I'm okay, so it's printing the value which is at index 0. Now print y. There you go, 2 and hello. Now 1 has been removed. Why? Because 0 is the first index, and at first index there was 1. Now we could basically continue doing on until all of this set list is completely removed, but that's just a waste of time. So now we have covered lists. Now we will look at dictionaries. Dictionaries are Python's most powerful data structure, and there are a whole lot of names for it, like associative arrays in PHP or Perl, properties or map or hash map in Java, and property net in C#. These are basically different names for dictionaries. What can dictionaries do? Well, we already have a list and a tuple. Why do you need a dictionary? Dictionaries let us store data. So just imagine that you are going to play a soccer match and want to keep a list of items that you may need for the match. And you can use lists, but you can use a dictionary as well. So it's not much of a difference. Now, we will not use the example for a soccer match, but for a supermarket, items you can get at the supermarket. So firstly, let's make a variable called items for supermarket. Yeah. And now we can use the dict function You may have already seen me use this in my first, no, not first, but the inbuilt functions in Python, that video. Now we have run that. Now we can basically uh, add the actual stuff. Now, items for supermarkets, and then I don't remember too well. Let me just try to think of it. Oh, okay. Eggs is equal to 10. Okay, so this is basically items for supermarket. We are assigning a name, like what we are going to buy, and the price for the particular item. Now we can copy paste this for say 4 items. Say you need 4 items, and then bread, milk, and say sugar, because you're making a cake. Now bread isn't that costly, milk is a bit more costly, 29, and sugar is the cheapest. We're going to keep that 2, also because why not? Now we can just print the list, the dictionary now. Print items for supermarket, and that will give us a dictionary. Now, okay, so now we have a dictionary. Eggs, the name eggs has the value 10 assigned to it. Bread has 5, milk is 29, and sugar is 2. Now you can do this for multiple things. You can play around with it if you want to. Now, we'll move on to the last one, which is a tuple. And one thing before we actually move on to that is that, say, dictionaries are mutable, so that means you can change the values of it. And if I actually mix this the other way around, but lists aren't mutable, but dictionaries are. So you can change the value of something, which is super cool if you make mistakes often. Now, tuples, which is the last data structure we're going to be discussing right now. So tuples look exactly like lists, but the only difference is that lists use square brackets and tuples use parentheses. There are a few differences, of course. Now, for now, you can think of tuples as lists as parentheses. Now, firstly, tuples are immutable. So what does immutable mean? It means that once you assign a value to a tuple, you cannot change it. You simply cannot change it. If you assign the values 1, 2, 3, it's going to stay like 1, 2, 3. Second, tuples are comparable. You can compare between tuples. Say, if 0, 1, 2 is greater than 3, 4, and 5, print true, else print false. True. Why? Firstly, there are 2 tuples here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, true. Why is it true? Because 0, 1, 2 is indeed smaller, or you can look at it the other way around if you want to be more optimistic. 3, 4, 5 is bigger than 0, 1, 2. Hence, it printed true. Now, moving on. You can even compare it with strings. Like, for example, you have 2 names. Say, if Adam, and then say Jones is greater than, no, let's make it the other way around this time, is greater than, say, Chris and Jean. Print true, else print. Please excuse me for my extremely slow typing right now. Now, why is it false? Because it looks at each of the letters and compares it with the other one. A. Is A bigger than C? No, A comes first, so C is bigger. So immediately, even if one letter is false, the entire expression will turn out to be false. So now if it was, um, if you had like something like ZZZ and ZZZ, you would expect to get a true. True. Why? Because Z is bigger than C. Z is bigger than H, and then etc. Hence, you can compare between tuples, and that is basically all. List tuples and dictionaries aren't hard. So if you understand it, then you're basically, if you understood all of what was taught in the last couple of videos and this video, you're basically very good at the basics of Python. Soon we'll be at starting with the matplotlib, and once we're done with that, we'll start with the numpy. But let's look at matplotlib next. See you soon and have a nice day.